Welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Tier 6 British tank destroyer, the Churchill Gun Carrier. Well, let's see. You're probably looking at this thinking, hang on, that looks just like the Churchill 7, and you're right, it does look very similar to the Churchill 7. It's the same chassis. So, yes, it looks very similar. It is, however, a very rare sight on the battlefield, and I can tell you there's two good reasons why it is a rare sight on the battlefield, and I'll show you why when we have a look at the tech tree. This is a British tech tree. You see here we start off with some mediums and you work your way through. This is the heavy tank line, ends with the FV215B, the Tier 10 British heavy tank. And we also have the tank destroyer line here. So the Churchill Gun Carrier sits in the middle. So what it allows you to do after the Tier 5 Churchill 1, the heavy, you can either choose to go to the Churchill 7 and continue up the heavy line, or you can divert, get the gun carrier, which is our Tier 6 tank destroyer, and then continue up the British tank destroyer line starting in from Tier 7. So generally people who want to do tank destroyers just do the tank destroyer line, people want to do heavies do a heavy line, but if you wanted to move from heavies to tank destroyers you can do so through here, but not many people do it, which is one of the reasons why you don't see this much on the battlefield. The other reason why you don't see it on the battlefield much is because it's not very good. Okay, so let's get into the stats. It has 650 hit points, weighs from 41 to 43 ton, has 350 horsepower, has a speed of 25 kilometers an hour, and it does do that on the flat. Uphill, like going up Himmeldorf, it'll slow down anywhere from 7 to 10 kilometers an hour, and downhill it doesn't really do, it might get to 29 or something like that down a steep hill. Traverse speed is 24, which is not very good. For a tank destroyer you really want a bit more because you don't have a turret. The armour is absolutely terrible. It's 88 on the front, 63 on the side and 50 on the rear. What you need to remember though is it's completely flat. No sloping, nothing. And apart from that, it's also a very ugly tank, I think. But anyway, it's very easily pierced. Really, you need to consider this as having no armour. The gun, I'll talk about that in a second. Has a view range of 340, which is totally inadequate for this tank. For a tank destroyer like this, it's just not good enough. The signal range of 550 is quite good though. Now let's talk about the gun. Alright, so I'll get the gun up. There's the gun, and I want to compare it to the gun on the Hellcat, just to give you an idea of how this gun works. There's the Hellcat. We'll just get it up that way. Alright, so that's the Hellcat's gun. Back to the gun carrier. Alright, so as you can see, they're both similar. The Hellcat is a 90mm and the gun carrier has a 94mm gun. Rate of fire, the Hellcat is slightly better, 7.5 as opposed to 7.06 on the gun carrier. The damage is very similar, 240 on the Hellcat and 250 on the gun carrier, so similar amount of damage. They're both Tier 6 tank destroyers. However, the Hellcat has a penetration of 160, whereas the gun carrier has a penetration of 214, which is awesome. So you can penetrate any Tier 6 with ease, nearly any Tier 7 with ease, even from the front. If they're heavy tanks you can penetrate them. Tier 8 you start to have a bit of difficulty, but even at Tier 8 most tanks you can penetrate without too much trouble. Maybe not all of them from the front, but you can still penetrate most of them. Now the Hellcat has a 0.35 accuracy, on the gun carrier 0.34, which is slightly better, both very good. Aiming time on the Hellcat is 1.7, which is sensational. On the gun carrier 2.9, which is quite poor. In fact, it's not very good, and it creates a problem in a minute, which I'll explain to you. So basically the gun on the gun carrier sacrifices or gets penetration but sacrifices aiming time. That's pretty much the difference between the two. As far as tanks go, well, the Hellcat's a smaller target and it's much faster. Pretty much more than double the speed of the gun carrier. Anyway, they both have the same gun depression. Speaking of gun depression, that is a good thing about this tank. It has 10 degrees of gun depression, just like the Hellcat. It only has 12 degrees of gun elevation, which is terrible, but the depression is good. However, it's hampered as a hill fighter because you pop up over the hill, the gun is very low on the chassis. See, it's level with the top of the tracks. So you're pretty much exposing your whole tank when you pop over a hill to have a shot. And then you've got a 2.9 second aiming time. So everybody sees you pop over the hill, you're sitting there waiting, aiming, and bang, they all start pelting you while you get your shot off. And then you can pop back pretty quick because you didn't have to go way over the hill, but it's the Hellcat, you pop up, bang, take a shot, pop down again, and you can get away with it. This tank, you can't get away with it, unfortunately. But it's still about the only tactic you have other than hiding in the bushes. Yeah, now the other thing about the gun is the gun traverse is absolutely terrible. And I'm not talking about the speed of the traverse, that's fine. I'm talking about the amount of traverse. So, see my cursor is on the front of the gun. The gun moves from there to there. That's how much movement there is in the gun. I'm pretty sure it is the worst gun traverse in the game. Very, very small, which means that you're constantly having to move your tank rather than just moving your gun. So most tank destroyers, you'll be able to move your gun from, say, there to about there, like that. So if a tank's moving, you can kind of follow it, aim, and then fire. This thing, you move your gun, it stops, they're still going, you have to move your tank. 2.9 second aim time, it has to re-aim. If they move a bit more, you have to turn your tank, you have to re-aim. You can't shoot anything that's moving. It's really hard, unless they're a long, long way away. So you mainly have to shoot stationary targets, and that really suffers. At close range, this thing is a death trap, and anybody if they just zigzag on the way and then just drive past you and your traverse is terrible, they just kill you, and you've got no armor. So yeah, other than that, the camouflage is about average for a tier 6 tank destroyer. There are some with much better camouflage, like the Hellcat. The camouflage isn't great, but it's not terrible. It's okay. Other than that, I think we can now get into some gameplay and you can have a look at it for yourself. But I will just say that I just had fun with this tank. I didn't try and take it seriously. I just had a bit of fun. If you do that, it's alright. If you try and take this tank seriously, it'll drive you absolutely crazy. It is not a good tank. Alright, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Okay, the map is Abbey. It's a tier 6 game, so we're top of the... Oh no, there's a couple of tier 7s, sorry. There's 2 tier 7s on each side. The rest are tier 6s, so we're close to being top of the tree. I decide to take up a sniping position back here. Now, I don't normally do that on this map. I normally rush in and take the middle because I'm not normally in a sort of sniper tank with no armor. And I'm not very good at it. I actually might speed this up because I kind of don't know how to take position and I actually can't see over this ridge, I realise, when I get this far back. So it's at 2 times now. Then I get in position and I can't aim at anything, I can't find anything, I've got no idea what I'm doing. Anyway, you get the idea. Just keep this going fast for a minute. Okay, I'll slow it down now because we get to see there's a Jackson. Our Hellcat's moving in. Jackson's hit him, he hits the Jackson. It's coming up, so I have a shot. And I go long, I miss him. He fires at a tank that's near me, doesn't actually fire at me, so the other guy near me, I'm not close enough to the bushes, I don't think. Yeah, he was shooting at that Chinook Kai, not at me. I'm going to speed it up a little bit again, 2 times. I just fire randomly there. Okay, I'm going to slow it back down again now. I think we get some action starting pretty soon. There we go. So there's the Jackson, he's come up. I've aimed at him and shot and done some good damage on him. He can't see me. Reloading. I fire another shot and we track him. So I'm getting ready, waiting for the reload to shoot him again now. And a KV-1S appears. I choose to eliminate the Jackson first. I was pretty sure because I tracked Jackson, he'd still be there. I didn't want to have 2 tanks shooting at me. So we get a good hit in there. It didn't go exactly where we aimed it, but it penetrates quite well, you can see. And with some assistance we take out the KV-1S. So that's good. It's 6-7. We are slightly... well, it's 7-all. We were in front, now it's 7-all. There's a leopard coming in. Our Panzer SFL is trying to hit it. Now, I don't. That leopard probably hasn't seen me, but he knows that the Panzer SFL's here. He spotted him, I'm sure. I can't move across because of the other tanks across the way. They'll shoot me, so I didn't fully aim, so that was a very lucky shot. Normally when you don't fully aim this gun, it misses really badly. So now I noticed his AMX is sitting there. I didn't fully aim because I thought he was starting to go. An M4 Sherman just snuck across in front of me. I noticed he's gone now, but he's going to try and get round behind me, I'd say. So I decided to turn and face the way up. Then I decided, you know what, I might turn and get my back against this hill so this guy can't get behind me. There he is. Now he's probably spotted me as well. I figure I'll wait for him to pop up. I'm also worried about artillery, so I'm trying to keep my back against this hill for that reason as well. I thought he was going to keep coming up, and I preemptive fired and I missed him. It was pretty silly, so he got a shot into me for 112. I decided to move forward, take a hit, but I want to get my hit in, which I do. He backs off. I don't want to chase him down there because I'm worried that if I chase too much, he'll just drive forward and go around me and then get my back. Once he gets past me, my front, I'm cactus. Then I decide, you know what, I haven't got a choice. I've just got to go for it. So I'm just going to charge at him and shoot him and then ram him. As it turns out, I shoot him on the move, and that's all I needed to do. And that was their last tank. Okay, there's the victory screen. Just so you know, I think my crew was about 90%. And in the next video, see they're also around the 90% mark. So, except for the commander's 100%, but everyone else is 90%. So bear that in mind with the accuracy of the gun. It might be a bit better with the crew 100%. So we got 4 kills, which is great. Pretty quick game. And yeah, okay, so let's look at the next screen. And we came 3rd for experience, and I think 3rd for damage as well on our team. The fortunes of that game changed very quickly. They just seem to have all gotten killed all of a sudden, the other team. Shots fired 13, direct hits 8, and penetrations 8. It does penetrate when it hits this gun most of the time. Damage 1500, which was quite good. Hits received 3, penetrations 3. We damaged 4, destroyed 4 tanks. That's about it. The earning potential was not too bad. You can see there we made okay money. And experience wise, it was, I think it was at 697 or 37. Plus premium comes to 1045, is not too bad either. Next game.
Let's go.
Alright, the map is Redshire. I'm in my Churchill Gun Carrier. The matchup is, well, it's a tier 8 game, and they're mostly tier 8s. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tier 8s on the enemy side, 2 tier 7s, and the rest are tier 6s. In fact, on our side of it, we're actually right down the bottom of the list. So, probably the worst matchup you could imagine for this tank. But, hey, we're just going to have fun. I take a few chances in this game because I just, hey, don't care. I just want to be finished with this tank. As you can see, it's not the fastest in the world, a bit slow up the hills, but there are slower tanks, such as the Churchill 7. So up the hill we go. I'll just speed this up to 2 times a little bit for you to save you the agony. Even at 2 times, look at that, it's agony at 2 times watching it. Alright, so I'll slow down again because it looks like we're going to get a shot here on this IS-3.
We didn't even scratch them.
Didn't penetrate. It is a well armoured tank. You've got to pick your shots on that tank. Alright, so we missed that shot. We stuffed up there. I thought I was on enough of an angle to aim at that upper plate. I thought it was angled enough towards me. It might not have been. But, you know, yeah, I mean, in an argument, you could say I could have gone for the lower plate, but then I was angled too, which means the lower plate's angled. Because the lower plate on IS3 is the same thickness as the upper plate. It's just that it isn't normally angled if you're flat onto it, because they normally face you flat on in the IS3. Who put that rock there? Silly person, silly map developer. So, as you can see, it's slow to turn. It accelerates okay in a straight line, but yeah. So the 110 here is giving us some trouble. He's hitting our IS3 there. He's still pretty much on full health. I decided to just go suicide mode on this guy, because honestly, I don't care. He has had a hit in him. I hit him. Now I ram him, and I figure I'm just going to ram him, push him, and just keep shooting him, and just generally be a pain. He's not even trying to shoot me. He probably doesn't see me as a threat. But the teammates were able to kill him while I'm butted up against him. I guess he couldn't use his front armour, so they're all able to shoot him in the sides. So there you go. My tactic of, hey, I might as well just go and get myself killed, actually paid off and helped the team defeat the tank. Oh, that's funny. Alrighty, I might just speed this up a little, but I'm just 2 times now, because I'm pretty sure I sit here for a little while. I speed it up to 4 times now. Back to 2 times, back to normal. Okay, so spot an AMX 12T. We get a good hit there. He backs away before we can reload, so rather than sit in the open, I decided to move to the cover of this rock. He looks like he might be coming out in the open again. Yes, he is. We miss. I rushed that one a bit, didn't fully aim it. Whoa, we're getting shot at. Carnarvon's just hit us for 242, which leaves us with 262 health left. We don't want that to happen again. There's the Carnarvon up there. So now I figure my camouflage resetter has popped around this bush. We get a nice hit on the Carnarvon. I'd say, as you can see, we can penetrate his armour no problem, the tier 8, but then they've got terrible armour, the Carnarvon. It's might as well be a light tank of the armour it's got. Although the front plate can bounce a little bit, but so we're getting some nice hits in this Carnarvon. He's tracked. Looks like that probably went in. So a good chance for you to see how this gun does against tier 8s. Now look at all these tanks up here. We've got a smorgasbord. I bounced off a T28. They do have very good armour though. Even other tier 8s have trouble penetrating them. Ferdinand, we get a shot on the side. Very nice. Oh, look at all the tanks up there. We just happened to have waltzed into the perfect sniping position. I don't know if we can get this Jag Panther. They're usually hard to penetrate even from the side.
Critical hit.
Oh, we got a critical on him at least. But I don't think I think he turned, we ended up hitting the front of him, I think. Been able to get clear shots, sort of get a bit of a spot to aim at and then it disappears again.
That one didn't go through.
No, we're bouncing. So it doesn't go through everything, but you know, I mean, I've been in tier 9s, even tier 10s and bounced off Ferdinand, so you know. Oh, we got him eventually. T28 has very good armor on the front. Oh, we penetrated him now. So his side's not the greatest, but the front's good. So it's good. So it's 10-9. We are winning ever so slightly. Just hoping someone will stick their head out. Oh, we blind fire there. He was coming out, so I don't know whether that's hit or not. Looks like Jackson's behind a building. Oh, might have a shot on the T28. Nah, a bit too strong the armor at front. There's a Jag Panther there. I'm aiming for the lower plate. Oh, and we get him. Nice. Oh, side of the T-28. Can we take him out? Oh, God. Oh, someone else gets him. Jag Panther. They've only got one tank left. This is it. Oh, he moved. Damn. Oh, we get another hit into him. And someone else gets him. End of the game. And we were capping too. Alright, well that was our mastery badge. We also got a Confederate medal. So, really great game. I mean, watching that game, you could be forgiven for thinking the Churchill Gun Carrier is a great tank destroyer. But, yeah, it was just a lucky game. All the stars aligned to make that a good game. It's just a fluke, really. All those tanks just sitting up there on that hill. And I was just feasting on them. It was awesome fun. And look, it could have gone horribly wrong at any moment. That 110 that I ended up ramming that because I just didn't give a stuff, that could have gone very wrong. He didn't aim at me. I shot him and rammed him. Then he thought Churchill Gun Carrier is a piece of crap, and he didn't even worry about me. And he was quite right too. I didn't even reload. The other guys were the threats. If he had turned and shot me, well, you know, could have been a different story. Game could have ended a lot quicker. But it didn't. So, next screen is... we came second on experience. 1100 raw experience is awesome. We did 2,949 damage. That was my best game in the Churchill. Out of 100 games, that was my best game. Let's have a look at the next screen. So we fired 24 shots, had 19 direct hits, which is very good. 13 of those penetrated. So we did bounce against a few of the tougher tier 8s, and it was at range, so it was still pretty good though, I think. Hits received, 1 penetrated, that was from that Carnarvon, I think it was. Enemies damaged 7, destroyed 1. We did a little bit of assistance damage, and we made 51,000 credits, which is good money. The ammo cost us about 15 grand, which is not too bad, and a little bit of tank repairs, so we still made some good money. And yeah, that experience with premium ended up being 1675, so yeah, well worth it. Okay. Thank you for watching my review of the Churchill Gun Carrier. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you wish to subscribe, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ, and you'll be notified of any further reviews that I do. I will be selling this tank straight away. The games you saw, look, are, you know, some good games I had in it, but really it's incredibly frustrating, and you have to be pretty lucky to have the right circumstances to get good games in it. Yeah, I can't think that anybody would really think that this was a good tank. On that note, have fun.